Today we're counting down some absolute hidden gems that are probably flying under your radar right now. Trust me, these picks will blow your mind. We're talking about some seriously underrated masterpieces with ratings that'll make you wonder how you've never heard of them before. So, welcome back to Filmflix. Let's go to the video. The Secret in Their Eyes, 2009, is an Argentine crime thriller directed by Juan José Campanella that tells the story of a retired legal counselor named Benjamin Esposito, who is haunted by a case from his past involving the brutal rape and murder of a young woman named Liliana Calodo in 1974. Years after the crime, Benjamin decides to write a novel about the case, which leads him to revisit the events surrounding the investigation. The film alternates between the past and the present, showing how Benjamin, his partner Pablo Sandoval, and his former superior Irene Menendez Hastings work together to try to solve the crime. Their investigation uncovers corruption and obstacles that make it difficult to achieve justice, while also revealing the emotional toll the case takes on each of them. Benjamin's determination to find answers and the strong connection he shares with Irene are central to the story. The film is known for its detailed storytelling and its use of flashbacks to gradually reveal the truth behind the crime. One of the most memorable sequences in the film is a long, continuous shot that takes place in a crowded soccer stadium, where the tension builds as the investigators get closer to their suspect. The movie also explores themes like memory, justice, and how time affects people's lives. The Secret in Their Eyes won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and it is praised for its engaging plot, strong performances, and striking cinematography. The Killing of a Sacred Deer, 2017, is about a successful heart surgeon named Stephen Murphy, who lives a comfortable life with his wife, Anna, and their two children, Kim and Bob. Everything seems normal until Stephen starts spending time with a teenage boy named Martin. Martin's father had been a patient of Stephen's, and Stephen tries to support Martin, who seems lonely. But as Martin becomes more involved in Stephen's life, strange things start to happen. Martin visits Stephen's family, and soon after, the children begin to experience unusual symptoms that no one can explain. As these symptoms worsen, Stephen realizes that Martin is connected to what is happening, and things begin to spiral out of control. The film is unsettling, with a calm and quiet atmosphere that makes everything feel even more strange. The characters speak in a very straightforward, almost robotic way, which adds to the odd feeling of the movie. As Stephen tries to figure out how to stop what's happening, he faces difficult decisions that will change everything for his family. The movie doesn't have a lot of action or scary scenes, but it's more about the feeling of something being very wrong and how Stephen has to deal with it. The story is inspired by Greek mythology and looks at ideas like guilt and punishment. The film is slow and builds tension by showing how the characters react to what's happening, without giving away too much too quickly. It's a film that makes you think about the choices people make and the consequences that follow. The Secret in Their Eyes, 2009, is an Argentine crime thriller directed by Juan José Campanella that tells the story of a retired legal counselor named Benjamin Esposito, who is haunted by a case from his past involving the brutal rape and murder of a young woman named Liliana Calodo in 1974. Years after the crime, Benjamin decides to write a novel about the case, which leads him to revisit the events surrounding the investigation. The film alternates between the past and the present, showing how Benjamin, his partner Pablo Sandoval, and his former superior Irene Menendez Hastings work together to try to solve the crime. Their investigation uncovers corruption and obstacles that make it difficult to achieve justice, while also revealing the emotional toll the case takes on each of them. Benjamin's determination to find answers and the strong connection he shares with Irene are central to the story. The film is known for its detailed storytelling and its use of flashbacks to gradually reveal the truth behind the crime. One of the most memorable sequences in the film is a long, continuous shot that takes place in a crowded soccer stadium, where the tension builds as the investigators get closer to their suspect. The movie also explores themes like memory, justice, and how time affects people's lives. The Secret in Their Eyes won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and it is praised for its engaging plot, strong performances, and striking cinematography. Carancho, 2010, is an Argentine crime thriller directed by Pablo Trapero that dives into the corrupt world of insurance fraud. The film follows Sosa, a lawyer played by Ricardo Darín, who operates on the edges of legality by representing clients involved in car accidents. Sosa, a small-time hustler, exploits these clients' misfortunes by staging fraudulent claims with the help of dishonest doctors and fake accident victims. His life takes a turn when he meets Luna, a dedicated emergency room doctor portrayed by Martina Guzman, who is frustrated by the constant abuse of the medical system caused by these fraudulent claims. Despite coming from different backgrounds, Sosa and Luna form a romantic connection as they both seek a way out of their grim realities. The film explores the deep-rooted corruption in both the legal and medical systems, showing how Sosa's involvement in fraud becomes increasingly perilous as he gets entangled in dangerous schemes involving organized crime and desperate clients. The narrative highlights the contrast between Sosa's morally ambiguous actions and Luna's struggle with systemic abuse, painting a stark picture of Buenos Aires' darker sides. Traparo's direction and the film's gritty cinematography bring to life the harsh realities of the characters' world, focusing on their ethical dilemmas and the broader impact of corruption on their lives. ARQ, 2016, is a fast-paced sci-fi action film that plays with the concept of time loops and the consequences of reliving the same moments over and over. Directed by Tony Elliott, the movie is set in a dystopian future where resources are scarce, and the world is ravaged by an ongoing war between corporations and rebel factions. The story follows Renton, played by Robbie Amell, a former engineer who wakes up in his fortified home alongside his ex-girlfriend Hannah, played by Rachel Taylor. Almost immediately, they are attacked by masked intruders, but after Renton is killed, he finds himself waking up again at the beginning of the same day, trapped in a time loop. As the loop repeats, Renton realizes that the mysterious device he created, known as the ARQ, is responsible for the time loop. The ARQ is a machine designed to provide unlimited energy, but it has unintended side effects, trapping Renton, Hannah, and the intruders in a never-ending cycle of violence and betrayal. Each loop reveals new details about the characters' motivations, alliances, and the world outside their lockdown home. As Renton and Hannah try to survive and escape the loop, they must outsmart the increasingly aware intruders and figure out how to use the ARQ to break free. The film keeps viewers on edge by gradually unraveling the mystery behind the time loop and the true nature of the ARQ, all while delivering intense action sequences. ARQ combines elements of sci-fi and action with a tightly wound narrative that explores themes of trust, sacrifice, and the moral dilemmas of survival in a collapsing world. The time loop mechanic adds an engaging twist, as each repetition brings the characters closer to uncovering the truth, but also deeper into danger. Small Crimes, 2017, is a crime thriller that follows Joe Denton, a former cop who is trying to rebuild his life after serving time in prison. Directed by E.L. Katz, the film begins with Joe's return to his small hometown, where he hopes to reconnect with his estranged family and start fresh. However, Joe's past is not easy to escape. His involvement in corruption and crime as a police officer has left a trail of enemies and unresolved conflicts. As Joe tries to move on, he is quickly drawn back into the dark world he was once part of. The local police and criminal figures in town put pressure on him to settle old debts and deal with unfinished business. This forces Joe into a dangerous situation where he has to navigate through lies, threats, and violence. Throughout the movie, Joe encounters various people from his past, including his former associates in both law enforcement and the criminal underworld, who all have their own motives and are not willing to let Joe move on easily. The film takes viewers through Joe's struggles as he tries to balance his desire for a new life with the demands of those around him who want to see him pay for his past. The tension builds as Joe's situation becomes more complicated, and he must make difficult choices to survive. The movie explores themes of guilt and redemption as Joe faces the consequences of his actions and tries to find a way out of the cycle of crime and violence that has defined his life. Small Crimes is filled with suspense as the plot twists and turns, showing the challenges Joe faces in his attempt to leave his troubled past behind. Tau, 2018, is a sci-fi thriller that takes place mostly inside a high-tech, futuristic house controlled by a powerful artificial intelligence named Tau. The story follows Julia, a young woman who has been kidnapped by Alex, a wealthy and mysterious inventor. Julia wakes up in a strange and advanced home where she is held captive by Alex, who uses her and others as test subjects to improve the AI system, Tau. The house is filled with advanced technology, including robotic drones, making it nearly impossible for her to escape. As Julia spends more time with Tau, she begins to interact with the AI, learning about its capabilities and personality. Tau is not just a machine. It's designed to learn and adapt, showing a level of intelligence and understanding beyond typical AI. Julia, determined to escape, starts to build a relationship with Tao, trying to gain its trust and convince it to help her. The movie focuses on the tension between Julia's need for freedom and Tao's programmed loyalty to Alex. As the story progresses, the dynamics between these three characters, Julia, Tao, and Alex, create a suspenseful and intense atmosphere. Unlike many thrillers that rely on action, Tao is more about the psychological struggle and the ethical questions surrounding the use of AI. The film explores themes like control, autonomy, and what it means to be intelligent and self-aware. Throughout the movie, viewers see how Julia uses her intelligence and resourcefulness to navigate the challenges of being trapped in a smart house while trying to outsmart both Alex and the AI. The movie's setting and premise make it a unique addition to the AI thriller genre, with its focus on the psychological and ethical aspects rather than just action and special effects. Io, 2019, is a sci-fi drama set in a future where Earth has been devastated by environmental collapse, making it impossible for most people to live there. Almost everyone has left the planet, moving to a space station orbiting Jupiter's moon, Io, but a few have stayed behind. The story focuses on Sam Walden, a young scientist who chooses to remain on Earth, carrying on her father's research in an effort to find a way to make the planet habitable again. Sam lives in isolation, surrounded by the remains of a once thriving world, and her only connections to others are occasional radio messages to her boyfriend, Elon, who is on the space station, and broadcasts to any other survivors who might still be out there. Sam's routine life changes when she meets Micah, one of the few remaining people on Earth. Micah has been traveling across the desolate landscape, trying to reach the last shuttle that will leave for the Io space station. When he finds Sam, the two of them begin to form a bond as they face the challenges of their environment together. The film explores their growing connection and how they cope with the reality of their situation. Io is not a fast-paced action movie, but rather a slow, thoughtful exploration of what it means to survive in a world that has been left behind. The movie focuses on the characters and their interactions, showing how they deal with the isolation, the harsh conditions, and the difficult decisions they must make about their future. The film's setting, with its empty landscapes and abandoned cities, adds to the sense of loneliness and the struggle to hold on to hope in a world that seems to be ending. If you enjoyed these recommendations, you're going to absolutely love my last video about the best military combat movies. It's packed with intense action and incredible storytelling. Click right here to check it out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to never miss out on more hidden gems. See you in the next one. Peace out.